You know, I'm starting to think they should have made March Aggravation Awareness Month, because it's been an aggravating month. Let me show you. Well, this is where I've been the last 3 days. Why? Because of that little box right there. That is called the pump mounted driver, and it makes everything your gas pedal does go to the injection pump. Mine was getting fried because they put it under this intake. You can't even see it. I can lift this hose out of the way. Under that little gap in there is the injection pump. They put that box right on the side of that thing, inside of that hot intake valley. So, gee, I wonder why it gets hot. The only lucky part for me, a previous diesel I had came with this little relocation kit. It comes with a heat sink and this extra long wire so you can hook it up. Changing the intake was a chore. And also, since the first time I've owned it, I changed the fuel filter. Now I know how to do it. Let me show you the old one. I probably could have solved most of my problems just by changing this filter. Look how nasty this thing is. They're supposed to be white. So, box relocation, filter. This thing cranks up like a different vehicle now. You don't believe me? Oh yeah, she's happy now. Before I forget, I've watched 10 different videos here on YouTube explaining how to relocate that little box. And not a single one used their old one. They always go buy a new one, fish the little plug out from under the intake, and just plug into the new one. Well, I called and priced a box. They're $275 at a parts house. Granted, you could probably find one cheaper online. But I wanted to use mine. And let me show you, I had to wind up making a tool, had the intake off, everything out of the way, still couldn't get the screws out of that box. Let me show you my Redneck Wrench. You just don't know how necessary this little ugly tool was. So just imagine this was still on the injection pump. All right, so you got it just sitting out there, top ones you can get to real easy. The bottom, let's use this piece of cardboard here. This would be like the top of the intake valley, blocking the side of those screws. I mean, you couldn't get anything in there. I mean, this thing is hideous, but I had to get one turn at a time till it was out. I had these and couldn't get in there, some of those, but that screw's some evil metric size. Standard is a 7/64, something like that. Metric, I'm not really sure. Never did find one. And these were old Snap-on master set that probably cost $100 off the truck back in the day. But I finally came up with that little wrench, with that little T whatever, a T20 maybe, T25. And I said, this is a cheap wrench, this is a cheap tool. I'm gonna weld them together, and then I had to grind the bottom off so I'd have enough clearance right there. But that's what I had to do. So the people on YouTube, they should have told you that, but I'm gonna tell you because I had to live through it. Now granted, if you were doing a full service on this thing and took the injection pump off, you could get to those screws easy. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get that box away from all that heat. So it was having a hard time cranking, and I also had a fuel leak. And after I put this top plenum back on here, I noticed the top of the injection pump is where the little leak is. But I can just take this part back off, this little elbow. I don't have to take the whole intake back off, and I could probably buy a gasket set for just that. Also, this might be my only video this week. I've seemed to have lost 3 days of my time. I want to work on some music. I want to take a little break from mechanic work. So we may just go write a song. But check back with us and see what we're doing. And as always, have a good one, Puddin'.